And hello, everyone, and welcome into Wildcat Gym as it's Lady Cats Volleyball. And tonight, the Lady Cats ranked number 13, according to the Texas, make sure I get this correct. I think it's, oh my goodness, Texas Girls Coaches Association. It's kind of a mouthful, but they're ranked number 13 in that poll, and they have a record of 20-4. And they're playing old rival here from the blast from the past, Paris. The Lady Wildcats are here, and we've got volleyball coming up for you. And we can tell you that these varsity players need to kind of break the mold here because the freshman and JV teams both won the first set and then lost the next two. So both freshman and JV teams losing by the score of 2-1. And that freshman team of Coach Jared Hammock, that was only their second loss in a match this season. They had lost to somebody in the Eustis tournament, but this was the second loss. Coach Carrillo's team has suffered a few more losses, but I think they have a pretty good record. I'm not so sure about David Carrillo's. I've heard Coach Hammock is very happy with his team, but not so much tonight. They just had an off night, it seemed like. Lady Cats are on the court, and here comes Paris as well as we get ready for this one. I believe Paris has a record of 10-7, and their head coach is Brittany Humphrey. She's on the far side. And Lady Cats coached by Justin Manus, as right now the players giving those low fives underneath the net to each other. Paris, as you can see, with the black uniforms. Normally you do that for the radio audience, but this is a TV-only game for us tonight. So Paris in the black uniforms with their libero in a white uniform. Lady Cats in the home blue with the black Spanx and everybody in blue except for Sadie Stroud. I always tell the joke that the libero must have not gotten the memo, but that's by design. You want your libero to look different than all the other players on the court. Right now for the Lady Cats, they've got Autumn Tanton out there, Abby Bayer, who's really been playing well, and Autumn too. Both of those players playing very, very well for the Lady Cats. Maddie Vickery has had some great moments. Also for the Lady Cats, Taylor McElfresh and also Lexi Wisenhunt. And right now, Sadie Washburn is on the court, but she will be subbed for by the libero, the aforementioned Sadie Stroud, and now Stroud is on the court. And I'll tell you what, I saw Sadie Washburn really seem to improve as she really seems to be getting better every time she hits the court. So just another weapon for the Lady Cats. Here's Lexi Wisenhunt ready to serve, and starts with a good one. And Paris's third shot is over. There's Stroud. Wisenhunt sets up for Autumn Tanton. And my goodness, does that look familiar? Autumn Tanton, she had 9 kills in one of the sets of a match. And Lady Cats up 1-0 with Wisenhunt with another serve. And Paris will set it up to the net, and they finish nicely. Nice finish by Paris, and we're tied at 1. And that'll send a serve over to Paris, and now serving for them is Victoria Weatherford. And she's listed as a junior. This is a very young Paris team. I think they've got one senior. Here's the serve, dug out there by, that was McElfresh, and unfortunately, as you saw, went all the way back across the net and quickly came back to the Lady Cat side. And Paris now leads 2-1. Another serve on the way into the net. They're tied at 2. And checking in, checking in was Sadie Washburn, but now back to serve is Sadie Stroud. And Stroud with a good serve. And a return by Paris. It went off of one of the Lady Cats, perhaps Autumn Tanton, but Lady Cats will set it up to the net, and they finish nicely. Nice finish by Paris, and we're tied at 1. And Paris will set it up to the net, and now serving for them is Victoria Weatherford. And she's listed as a junior. This is a very young Paris team. I think they've got one senior. Here's the serve, dug out there by, that was McElfresh, and unfortunately, as you saw, went all the way back across the net and quickly came back to the Lady Cat side. And Paris now leads 2-1. Another serve on the way That's a point for Paris, and they take a 3-2 lead. Another serve coming for Weatherford. And up to the net by Sadie Washburn, Wisenhunt, and then over by Autumn Tanton. Paris returned it. It went off of Vickery there, and Paris is up 4-2. And another serve coming for Weatherford here, and it's over. Dug there by McElfresh. High in the air, Wisenhunt. Oh, what a bomb that was by Vickery. Madison Vickery. Lady Cats back to within 1 at 4-3, and Autumn Tanton back to serve. One thing I'm very impressed with Autumn as I was watching her play in the Tyler tournament at Robert E. Lee High School on Saturday was her hand-eye coordination. She's just amazing. That ball comes into her so quick, and she's able to return it. Her serve, a good one. Here's the third Paris shot, blocked by the Lady Cats in there. Either Vickery there or Sydney Washburn, and the Lady Cats have tied it up at 4 here, and Autumn Tanton will have another serve coming as soon as they round up that volleyball, which ended up at the base of the stands. Over there by a very familiar-looking fellow named Jeff Chapman, by the way. There's a good serve by Tanton. Paris gets it back across, and the Lady Cats, they do get it back. Autumn Tanton got it back over. Paris, they kept it alive, though, and they will feather it back over, and the Lady Cats can't rescue that one. Went off several of their players, and Paris back up in the lead, 5-4. And now checking in to serve for Paris here. I believe, well, that doesn't, I'm not sure what number. I will try to figure that out. There's Tanton to Wisenhunt. And once again, Vickery, that looked like it hit. It did hit right on the line as a freshman player for the Lady Cats made the call. And, well, actually, they're going to do a redo, I guess. So we're back to 5-4. Paris leads. It's actually, well, they changed it to 6-4 now. Paris serve. Lady Cats get it back across. There's Sydney Washburn. Boy, what a nice finish by her. And the Lady Cats, they didn't like something with, well, now, the ball came, even Paris thought the Lady Cats got that point. Coach Manus is having a discussion. And now Autumn Tanton's going to come over and talk to the official up in the bird's nest there. They call it the Eagle's Nest, the eyrie. Autumn Tanton still, I think she's saying that official on the side called it a good. And it looks like we're going to have an overrule here, I believe. Officials are going to talk it over. Looked like the Lady Cats had gotten the point, making it 6-5. But then I thought the official in the eyrie had actually overruled. And let's see. Autumn coming back over now and official sent her right back to her group. She's talking to a young lady with Paris now as the officials will try to get their heads together here. And we're either at Paris leading 6-5 or 7-4. It looked like a good finish by Sydney Washburn. And they're going to give the ball to Paris. So Lady Cats are down 7-4. I don't understand what Sydney Washburn did. It looked like a good kill. And Coach Manus may be in my camp. He may not can believe what he just saw. Jack Buck. Another Paris serve coming here. They lead 7-4 here in set one. Officials are still talking. Now she's given the go-ahead for the Paris serve. And there's a hit on the way. They're going to replay this point. It's 6-4. And there's Sadie Washburn trying to finish up, but Paris kept it alive, and they will get it back over. Dug there by Sadie Washburn. Over to Wisenhunt, and returned by Sydney Washburn. And now Paris's third hit, but that one's way too strong, and Lady Cats are within 6-5. So that was a do-over since the coach is not happy with the overrule, and the officials deciding to play that one over. Lady Cats down by 1. Here's Maddie Millsap with a serve. And Paris got it back over. Nice dig by Autumn Tanton. Wisenhunt high in the air. Sadie Washburn a hard hit, and she's going to get a kill out of that. So we're tied at 6. Good finish there by Sadie Washburn. Like I say, she had a very good Saturday for the Lady Cats. Maddie Millsap with a serve. Oh, into the net. Paris up 7-6. Boy, Coach Jared Hammock's bunch really hurt by serves into the net. He was bemoaning that fact. Now Paris serve coming up here, and this will be Quinteria Jenkins. Her serve is good. It's up to Wisenhunt, tried to finish. Paris returned it. Lady Cats get it back there. Good hit by, that was Sydney Washburn, and then Wisenhunt put it back over the net, and we're tied at 7. Lexi, very versatile, do a little bit of everything. There's a good serve by Sadie Washburn. Paris could not get that third shot. It hit right at the top of the net and flopped back on the Paris side. And the Lady Cats, I believe, have their first lead here in the match at 8-7. And another serve for Sadie Washburn. Oh, it hit the back line, according to the official. And the Lady Cats up 9-7 now with Washburn with another serve to come. He's a deadly server. Another good serve, and that's Washburn gets it again over to Wisenhunt. Oh, hit it 4 times. That one, a miss hit there by Sydney Washburn. And it's 9-8 with Paris serving. And this is Macy McAmis. Second shot for the Lady Cats. Autumn Tanton gets it over. And that was Paris point, so we're tied at 9. That was just out on the far side. And now we're going to have a discussion with young Ms. Hammock there, the Coach Jared Hammock's younger daughter on the freshman team, and the lead official up in the Eyrie. We're tied at 9. And another serve for McAmis, hit by Millsap, and then Stroud and over by Wisenhunt. Paris sets it up to the net, and Lady Cats cannot return that one. Autumn Tanton got a fist on it, and that was about it. Paris leads 10-9 here in set 1. And McAmis with another serve. And that one over, hit by Stroud. Wisenhunt sets up to Abby Bayer. She hammers it over. And Paris returns it, hit by Stroud. Wisenhunt sets up Abby Bayer, and that was going to go back across the back line, point for Paris. And they're up by 2 at 11-9. Lady Cats look like they've not found their rhythm yet. They're a little bit tentative in the early going. Guess that's not unusual for a team. Paris serves, zips across the top of the net. Lady Cats keep it alive. And Sydney Washburn, a little bit too much mustard on that return. And it bounced over in the general area of Jeff Chapman over there. Yeah, Coach Chapman is back in the gym tonight. He is, after all, the female athletic coordinator at Paris High School. And there's an ace by Paris. And they are now up 13-9. Coach Chapman very warmly received. We'll talk about that when we get a chance. Lady Cats trailing in set 1, 13-9. We'll take a break here, and we'll be back in a moment. And another serve coming for McAmis for Paris. That's going to sail across the back line. So Lady Cats are back down now only by 3, 13-10. And in to serve now is Taylor McElfresh. She's really gotten herself a role for a person that can serve and do a lot of digging back there. Made herself valuable. Good serve. And Paris got it back. McElfresh pops it up. Wisenhunt gives it to Tanton, who feathered it over. You don't always have to use brute force, and that time Tanton with the soft glove approach, and the Lady Cats are down by 2 now at 13-11. McElfresh with another serve coming up. Taylor serve. Popped up near the net. Oh, they got it over the net, and Autumn Tanton said, I'll take care of that. And she made them pay. As you should if that ball just trickles over the net like that. Just hammer it. I always used to scream when the Lady Cats would do that, look out below, because that ball was coming back fast. McElfresh serve. And Paris again setting up the net, pumped it over. Abby Bear pops it up. Wisenhunt back to Bear. Her shot blocked, but it went out of bounds. So a good point there for Abby Bear, and we're tied at 13. Abby is hitting the ball as hard as anybody on the team, and she is playing very, very well. She is as good of a player as I've ever seen from her. And Paris returns it. That hit too far. It went across the sideline, and the Lady Cats are up 14-13, one of their rare leads. They were up at 9-8, so only the second time they've had the lead. And once again, serve from McElfresh. It's a good one. Paris sets up the net and gets it over, dug by Millsap. Wisenhunt high in the air. Bayer gets it over. Paris' third shot is over. Dug there by McElfresh. Wisenhunt pops it up. Tanton hits it across. It went off a Paris player. And the Lady Cats are up 15-13. Timeout taken after a nice series of serves by Taylor McElfresh, who started serving at 10-13. So she served 5 good ones, and the Lady Cats are up 15-13. Take a break, and we'll be back in a moment. Doesn't take us very long to take a break. Both teams not needing much to say that time, and McElfresh with another serve coming up. Lady Cats up 15-13. Another good one. The second Paris hit. This will have to go over, and does. Hit by Stroud. Now Wisenhunt, and over by Tanton. Paris' second shot, and third hit by Stroud. Popped up in the air. A Millsap, and over by Autumn Tanton. Paris sets up the net again. Blocked there by the Lady Cats. Autumn Tanton. I thought it was either her or Abby Bear, but Abby actually reached over and slapped her on the back there. 16-13. And McElfresh with another serve. It's a good one. Paris, the second hitter tried to finesse it over the net. Hit it right into the net. 7 in a row from McElfresh, and the Lady Cats lead 17-13. McElfresh serve. And Paris gets it over. McElfresh high in the air. Oh, they didn't like that, and I would agree with that. That was not a clean hit. It was kind of more of a catch and a toss, and the Lady Cats got caught for that one. 17-14, and the libero now serving. This is Skylar Coursey for the Lady Wildcats of Paris. Autumn Tanton, with a strong finish. Right inside that back line as Autumn Tanton really hit that one hard. And the Lady Cats up 18-14. Autumn, the leader of this team, and she's pretty vocal out on the court with her teammates, but she really leads a lot by example. Oh, an ace serve by Lexi Wisenhunt. And the Lady Cats are up by 5 now, beginning to find that cruise control that they can do so well. There's a reason they're 20-4. And here's Lexi Wisenhunt over. Paris sets up the net and feathered it over. Good dig by Wisenhunt. Oh, with a left hand by Autumn Tanton. I think they're having a discussion of whether or not she was under the net, and I think that did happen. So Autumn with a net violation, although with the left hand was very impressive. Paris down and serving now. They're down 19-15. And a serve for Victoria Weatherford. Wisenhunt will set it up. The left hand there by Vickery, and then Autumn Tanton with another super kill. Oh, Autumn Tanton is really, really having a night for kills. And the Lady Cats up 20-15. As Sadie Washburn checks in, here's Sadie Stroud serve. Paris will set up the net, feather it over and into a good spot there. Sadie Washburn dived trying to get to it, but couldn't reach it. And the Lady Cats are up 20-16. Another serve coming for Weatherford, and a junior for Paris. hit by McElfresh. Popped up in the air, Wisenhunt, and Vickery slams it over, but Paris keeps it alive and returns it. Dug there by McElfresh. Wisenhunt pops it up to Sadie Washburn. Her shot blocked, but it went out of bounds. Point for the Lady Cats at 21-16. You can block it all day long, but you got to block it back into the court. Kind of like those good NBA blocks. You block them to teammates instead of knocking them in the third row, even though those are prettier. Paris on the return. Tanton high in the air. Set up to Vickery. Oh, Madison Vickery with a good finish. There's a deflection off of Paris, and Lady Cats are up by 6 now at 22-16. Since the Lady Cats since we last saw them on television, against Forney. We'll tell that in a moment as Autumn Tanton got a good serve. Paris couldn't return it. Lady Cats up 23-16. Since Forney last week, the Lady Cats won 6 out of 7 and took a bronze bracket championship in Tyler. Good strong hit by Sydney Washburn. Paris gets it back. Lady Cats third shot. Sadie Washburn, that one went across the back line. Hit a little bit too forcefully. Lady Cats still up by 6 at 23-17. And Paris serve coming up. And it's over. Hit by Stroud. Wisenhunt dumped it over there. Paris kept it alive and ruled... you see that done to Wisenhunt occasionally. They do not like the way she finishes. They think it's more, instead of a hit, kind of a catch and a toss. Lady Cats still up by 5, 23-18. There's Sadie Washburn, a strong hit, but Paris keeps it alive, and they will return it. It went off of Lady Cats net people there, and we are at Lady Cats still leading 23-19, but Paris is chewing into the lead right now. And another Paris serve coming. It's over. Hit by Sadie Washburn. And that one trickled across to the Paris side, and they dumped it on the Lady Cat side. 23-20. Paris, a good little run here. They're getting back in it. Good serve hit by Tanton. Wisenhunt pops it up. Vickery, and she hammered it, but Paris kept it alive and returned it. Hit by Stroud and Wisenhunt over to Autumn Tanton. She returns it. Paris kept it alive. They set up the net, and a good finish there. Strong finish by Hannah Gibbons, just a sophomore. 23-21, and timeout taken by Coach Manus as he's seen a 23-16 lead turn into a 23-21 game with 5 straight Paris points, including 4 on the serve. So let's take a break here, and we'll be back with more Set 1 volleyball right after this. Paris just broke the huddle. Very interesting. Their head coach and I believe the coach for their JV, both talking to different players in that huddle. So 2 for the price of 1 there for Paris. Here's their serve. They're down 23-21. Hit by Tanton all the way back across. Paris returns it. Sydney Washburn sets up Wisenhunt, and there's a good finish by Maddie Vickery. And the Lady Cats are up 24-21 with a chance. Set point coming up here. Autumn Tanton, Maddie Millsap serving. Maddie, the lefty. And Maddie Millsap serve. Paris will set it up toward the net, and they'll get it over. Hit by Tanton up to Wisenhunt, who sends it over to Sadie Washburn. Hits it hard, but Paris kept it alive and got it back over. Hit by Stroud. Wisenhunt turns and fires that one, and she got the set point. And see, that one they said was a clean hit. But every once in a while, they don't like when she turns and flings that ball back. They say she kind of caught it and threw it. And the Lady Cats win set 1 against Paris by the score of 25-21. So that one's in the books. And we're between sets here. The teams have changed ends of the court. We'll be back with the start of set 2 right after this break. Both teams have made their way back onto the court now from their huddles over at the bench area. Lady Cats in set 2. Look like they'll start Autumn Tanton, Abby Bear, Sadie Washburn, Lexi Wisenhunt, Taylor McElfresh, and also Maddie Millsap. Now, one of these players will be checking out for the libero, and I think the designated checker outer is Sadie Washburn, and now Sadie Stroud. So Sadie for Sadie there for the Lady Cats, and Paris does the same thing where their libero comes in. That young lady is Skylar Coursey. And Paris serving as we start set 2 here with the Lady Cats leading 1-0. They won 25-21. Here's a Paris serve, dug by Stroud, popped up Wisenhunt and over by Abby Bayer. And Paris sets up the net. Good dig by McElfresh to Wisenhunt and a finish by Autumn Tanton. Somewhere it is written that Autumn Tanton has to get the first kill. It seems to work that way. They seem to look for Autumn, and that's a good person to look for. A 4-year veteran, I'm pretty sure, of this volleyball team. There's Wisenhunt's serve. And Paris returns it, but back across the back line. Got to stay alert there. That ball almost hit a man that looked like he was heading outside. Here's Wisenhunt's serve. Paris sets up the net. Oh, nice dig by Sadie Stroud. Wisenhunt high into the air. Abby Bayer got it over. Paris sets up the net. Hit it across the back line, just barely. That was a close call. The young lady, I believe, from Paris with a flag ruled that out. Lady Cats up 3-0 here in set 2. Another serve coming, Wisenhunt. And Paris will set up the net again. Lady Cats kept it alive, though, and Stroud will get it back across. Sent up toward the net. Blocked there by Vickery. Tanton finished. Tanton got it over again, and the Lady Cats got it back over, but that one by Abby Bayer just a tad wide. And Paris is back to within 3-1, and back to serve for them. There it goes. Stroud gets it up near the net. Oh, that was one of those just barely got over. That was one of those lookout belows as Paris really finished that one. See if I can get that young lady's name. Well, we don't have an 11. I've got a list of names, but I don't have the right numbers. There's a serve that, oh, they said that was in. I would have sworn that was long. We're tied at 3. And this serve by Grace Woodby. Lady Cat set up the net. Tanton pops it over, and the weird way that she had to hit that, because it was set up kind of low, it ended up out of bounds. So Paris has scored the last 4 points, and they're up 4-3. Woodby with another serve. Dug there by McElfresh. Set up Wisenhunt. Tanton tried to finish. Paris tried to keep it alive, but they could not return it. Hit it up into the net, and we're tied at 4. Sadie Stroud back to serve for the Lady Cats. If you watch the Lady Cats enough, they serve in a very distinct order, and Wisenhunt's first and Stroud always second. Lady Cats now trying to get it back. They set up the net. Shot by Vickery was blocked by Paris, and Paris takes a 5-4 lead. Keep in mind the varsity here with the same perilous pattern of the freshmen and JV winning the first set. So hope they don't lose the next 2. There's a Paris serve dug by Stroud. Wisenhunt sets up, and Tanton had a little bit of trouble with the hit there. There was something amiss with the Lady Cat hit, and Paris is up 6-4. There's their serve. McElfresh pops it up. Wisenhunt to Tanton. Hits it back across. It just made it over the net. And Sadie Washburn with a big-time kill. And the Lady Cats are down by 1 now, 6-5. And Autumn Tanton will be back to serve. Tanton is always the third server. Always Wisenhunt, Stroud, Tanton in that order. Always. Here's Autumn serve. Second shot for Paris, and over it goes. Dug by Stroud. High up into the air for Vickery. Oh, that's in there. Oh, she said it was out. My goodness, that looked like a good one. Looked like it hit right in that corner. Lady Cats may have got jobbed on that line call right there. Without tennis automated lines, hard to tell. There's a pair serve hit by Stroud. Wisenhunt will set it up to Sadie Washburn. Returned it. There's one right up into that net. The Lady Cats returned it, got it blocked, sent it back over. Paris hits it back, and they got into the net that time. Good call by the official as Paris players, they hit the top of that net as they were trying to get it over. And the Lady Cats are down by just one, now 7-6. And here's Maddie Millsap. She's in the serving rotation as well. The lefty gets it across. Paris up near the net, popped it over, dug by Tanton. Wisenhunt sets it up and over by Sydney Washburn. Tanton gets it over to Wisenhunt and over there by Sadie Washburn. Paris will set up the net on the far side. Stroud tried to dig it but couldn't get it up off the floor as that was a big time kill by Paris. And Paris is up 8-6. Erie in the similarity to both the freshmen and JV so far, but we're a long way from that. Paris serve, good dig by Tanton, and over by Wisenhunt. Paris third shot is over. Good dig, Millsap over to Wisenhunt and returned by Sydney Washburn. Paris up near the net, they feather it over. Tanton pushes it back over. Paris sets up the net, and hit by Tanton, and then it went out of the reach of Millsap, and Paris has a 3-point lead at 9-6. Another serve coming for Paris. This is Macy McAmis, dug by Tanton. Wisenhunt sets it up. Oh, it went over Sydney Washburn, and Sadie Stroud coming up couldn't get to it. So that one set a little bit over Sydney Washburn. The Lady Cats down by 4 at 10-6, and that's enough. Coach Manus says he wants to talk it over here as they've fallen behind by 4. Lady Cats did win the first set, and we'll take a break right here in set 2 and be back in a moment. Lady Cats trailing 10-6 here in set 2. And McAmis will serve again for Paris. She gets it over, hit by Stroud. Wisenhunt over to Sadie Washburn. Oh my, what a big time kill that was for the young sophomore. Boy, she just oozes potential. She is looks like she's going to be a real good one. Just a sophomore. And the serve now for Sadie. Oh, it hit the top of the net and refused to go over. So Paris with an 11-7 lead, and their libero now serving. This is Skylar Corsi, a junior for Paris, the libero with the white jersey. Gets it over. Dug by Millsap. Oh, dug too much, but they got a good block from Wisenhunt. Now the Lady Cats third hit again. Tanton fired it over, but it went too long. And man, I'm telling you, this looks just like what Coach Hammock saw and Coach Carrillo saw, as Paris just somehow lulls these Lady Cats to sleep here, and they've got a 5-point lead at 12-7. There's a serve hit by Tanton. Set up the net to Sydney Washburn. A nice finish, and that one found the court. Got the seal of approval from the flag official. That is from Paris. Lady Cats trailing 12-8. Here's Taylor McElfresh. Taylor's serve, a good one. Set up toward the net, and over it goes. Dug by McElfresh. High up in the air, Bayer. And over by Wisenhunt. Paris sets up the net, feathers it over. Good dig by Abby Bayer. Gets it over, and the Lady Cats returned it. Paris hit it right back. The Lady Cats set it up. Wisenhunt sends it back over. Paris will set up the net. It was went into Wisenhunt that time. Tried to block it, but it ended up on the Lady Cats side. Paris up by 5 at 13-8. And the serve now, Victoria Weatherford. Another, boy, they have almost all juniors. There's a good dig by Stroud. Popped up Wisenhunt over to Abby Bayer, and she returns it. And Paris could not return Abby's. Didn't hit that one particularly hard. Just put it in a good place. And it's now 13-9. Lady Cats serving, and we'll back up to the top of the order now. And Lexi Wisenhunt, very versatile young lady. Her serve is good. Second Paris hit, and over it goes, dug by Wisenhunt. Stroud pops it up. Vickery hammers it, and it went off of a Paris player and ended up about 3 rows from us up here. It almost depended on Doug Hastings' good hands to keep me safe up here. 13-10, Lady Cats trail. The serve by Wisenhunt is good. Went all the way over, dumped by the Lady Cats, but it may have been too long. No, the serve point was good. The Lady Cats are down 13-11, and it prompts a quick timeout by Paris's coach, who is Brittany Humphrey. So we'll take the break with them. We're in set 2. Lady Cats trailing 13-11. They did win set 1, 25-21. We'll be back in a moment. Superfan Chris is in the house, and the first person he saw when he walked in the door was former girls basketball coach Jeff Chapman. So they're having a little conversation over there. Wisenhunt with a serve. Second Paris hit goes over. Popped up in the air for the Lady Cats. They'll set it up toward Abby Bayer. She returned it. Paris returns it. McElfresh pops it up. Wisenhunt sets up Tanton. And Paris, I think they kept it alive, and over it goes. Hit by McElfresh. Wisenhunt sets it high for Vickery, and she did get it back over, and then Paris had a miss hit, a lift, trying to get it back over. Not a clean hit. And the Lady Cats are back to within 1 now at 13-12. Wisenhunt with another serve coming up. Lexi gets it over. There's a second shot, and over it goes. Blocked by the Lady Cats, but returned, and Tanton hammers it back. Paris returns it. Stroud pops it up. Wisenhunt sets up Vickery. She got it across. Paris hit the shot back. It went up into the ceiling. And a point for the Lady Cats. We're tied up at 13. Seems like a while. The Lady Cats trail 13-8. So they've scored 5 straight. Here's serve by Wisenhunt again. And Paris will return this one. Oh, went off of Stroud, and Paris takes the lead quickly at 14-13. And that's another thing that happened in the sub-varsity, was when it seemed like the Lady Cats would get momentum and catch up, and Paris always got the next point. There's a Paris serve off McElfresh. Set up Wisenhunt to Abby Bayer, hammered it, and now Tanton hammers it, but Paris continues to return the ball. Stroud pops it high in the air. Oh, they don't return that one. Maddie Vickery with a big-time finish, and we're tied at 14. Boy, Maddie's in the groove. She's had some good kills. That's the good thing with this Lady Cat team. Lots of weapons. Sadie Stroud on the serve, tied at 14. Paris sends it up and over. Stroud dug it out. Wisenhunt pops it up over to Sadie Washburn. Back on the Lady Cat side. This is their third shot. Vickery hammered it over. And Paris will return it. Stroud popped it toward the net. Set up to Tanton. Finished big time, but they're going to say Autumn was up in the net. Anyway, a violation on the Lady Cats, and that'll cost them a point. Even though it looked like a good finish for the Lady Cats, something awry, and Paris is up 15-14. I believe this is Riley Bills now serving. Gets it over, dug by Sadie Washburn. Wisenhunt pops it up. Tanton returned it. It went wide. Now, she had to bend back as far as she could, and that threw off her trajectory. And Paris up 16-14. There's Bills with a serve hit by McElfresh. Popped up, and the third shot, Washburn got it over. Paris kept it alive, and they return it. Stroud hits it up toward the net. Wisenhunt pops it up. Sadie Washburn, oh my! She got way higher that time and hammered it down. Are you kidding me? Wait a minute. Wait a minute. They gave that point to Paris. The scoreboard didn't. And now Paris gets it back across. It's 14-17. You've got to be kidding me. And that shot by Tanton was out. I don't know what the Lady Cats have to do all of a sudden here. They seem to be victimized by some extremely weird calls in my opinion. 18-14, here's the serve by Paris. And off of Stroud, it's 19-14. Boy, I tell you, I'm pretty sure there's a full moon out and timeout taken by Justin Manus. As Paris has gone from 14-14 to 14-19 with a little help from their friends in officials' uniforms. Some calls that I'm not so sure about. We're going to just keep it right here. The Lady Cats are just about to break out of the huddle. See Coach David Carrillo helping out over there in the huddle. I think he's trying to make sure that everybody gets some water. And the Lady Cats break out of there, but they're down by 5. Erie, very familiar with sub-varsities, the way these things are going. Coach Manus may say, oh, all those were good calls, but they looked strange to me, to my eyeballs. Here's a Paris serve, hit by Sadie Washburn. Wisenhunt returns it. She ruled it out. Looked like it was right in there, right in front of us down below here. Another call out. My. Lady Cats having trouble getting a call. They're down 14-20. Second shot by Stroud, and it will go over by Wisenhunt. Good scramble there. Paris will set up the net and hammer it into the net. Maybe Paris won't get that point that they hit into the net. Lady Cats down 20-15. And Autumn Tanton serving. As soon as she's given the go-ahead, and she gets it across. Popped up toward the net. And Paris has a shot blocked, but it was blocked out of bounds. And Paris is up 21-15. Because they're close to evening this match at 1 here. And I believe this is Quinteria Jenkins serving. Yes, it is. Hit by Stroud. Wisenhunt pops it up. This is a long hit by Tanton that got over. And now Paris sets up the net. Lady Cats went off their net people, and Paris is up 22-15. We've seen this movie before. Twice already tonight. It's called Freshman and JV. But the Lady Cats are not quite that deep in yet. The Lady Cats' second shot, and over it goes by Tanton. But they're trailing here in set 2. Paris trying to even it up. They got it across. Stroud pops it up to Wisenhunt. Over to Vickery. Oh, a strong finish by Maddie Vickery. I think she got that point. Let's hold everything. And it appears that one is in order. Had a couple of strong finishes that had problems. 22-16, Lady Cats trail. Here's Maddie Millsap. Left hands it over there. Paris will set up the net, and that one went right into the net. Never got over. And the Lady Cats are down by 5 at 22-17. Millsap with another serve coming up. Maddie with that same serve technique gets it across. And Paris will get it over. Stroud pops it up. Wisenhunt over to Sydney Washburn. And Paris got it back over. Tanton pops it up. Wisenhunt sends it over to Sadie Washburn. Well, Paris dug that one and got it back across nicely. Wisenhunt gets it over to Sadie Washburn, who dumped it over. Paris will set up the net. Shot blocked, and Paris couldn't get that one back. Nice block there by either Sydney Washburn or Lexi Wisenhunt, one of those two. A lot of times they give a shared block on that, a block assist. Lady Cats down 22-18, served by Millsap. Paris will set up the net, blocked by the Lady Cats, and there was a Paris problem on that one, involving either under the net or something like that. And Lady Cats lead trail 22-19. Millsap with the serve, gets it over. And Paris, second shot over. Oh, and it went right into an open space. And that was eerily familiar because that happened time and again against a freshman in JV. Paris would hit a weird shot like that, and it would go right into the perfect spot. They're up 23-19. They get the serve over off Tanton and over by Wisenhunt. Paris sets up the net and punches it over. Sadie Washburn over to Wisenhunt and Sydney Washburn. And it back on the Lady Cat side, and they hit it long. I think that was Sadie Washburn, just a hair long. And Paris is on the verge of a 1-1 tie here as they lead this set 24-19. Paris serve on the way. Dug by Tanton all the way back across. Paris will set up the net. Blocked by the Lady Cats, and that one belongs to the Lady Cats, so they dodge the set point bullet, and they're down 24-20. And Sadie Washburn to serve for the Lady Cats. Her serve is a good one, and Paris, they're going to get it across, and they do. Popped up Millsap. Wisenhunt sets it over to Abby Bayer, who finishes. And the Lady Cats avoid another set point, and they're down 24-21. They need some of that John Tyler magic. That was a team tough to stick a stake in, I'm telling you. You would look at them and think they were beaten. The next thing you know, they're right back in your face. Here's Sadie Washburn serve. Second Paris shot goes over, hit by Millsap. Up to Wisenhunt, over to Abby Bayer, and she hammers it across. But Paris kept it alive and got it over. Dug by Millsap. Wisenhunt sets up. Oh, and Sydney Washburn could not clear that one over the net. And Paris will take set 2. And so after 2 sets, the match is tied 1 set apiece. And we'll be ready for set number 3. The Lady Cats won the first one 25-21, and Paris won that 25-21. So let's see, maybe all these similar familiar things will be over with here, and maybe the Lady Cats can take charge like they have in so many recent matches, with the one exception being White Oak in that Tyler tournament. So we're getting ready for the start of set 3. We'll take a break. The teams have changed ends back in their original ends now, with the Lady Cats to our left and Paris to our right. And we'll be back with the start of set 3 right after this break. Teams back on the court now as we get ready for the start of set 3. Lady Cats with Tanton, Bayer, Vickery, Taylor McElfresh, and Lexi Wisenhunt, and then Sadie Stroud will be coming in for Sadie Washburn. Kind of a set starting lineup here for Coach Manus. Of course, Erica Van Bentham has not played a minute this year on a bad ankle that she hurt on the second day of practice. She's in uniform but not playing tonight. Not cleared to play, I'm pretty sure. Wisenhunt's serve is good to get us started in set 3. It's popped up to the net, set up to Vickery, a shot blocked. And now Paris returns it. Oh, and that one hit just inside the back line there. A good point for Paris, and they lead 1-0. And checking in to serve for Paris now will be Victoria Weatherford. We're tied at 1 in sets, and Paris up 1-0 here in set 3. Weatherford serve. And Lady Cats couldn't dig it off the court there. McElfresh did her best, but could not get it up and off the floor. And good serve there by Weatherford. And Paris is up 2-0 here in set 3. Weatherford serve. Hit by Stroud, and nobody can get to it. Lady Cats let that one fall, and Paris is up 3-0. They've started with 3 straight successful serves here. Over it goes, hit by Stroud. Wisenhunt will set up Tanton. No, she had to hit it flat on the floor. She jumped a little early. Paris returns it. Stroud tried to dig it off the floor, couldn't do it, and the Lady Cats are down 4-0 here in set 3. Boy, Paris has got the magic formula against the Lady Cats tonight so far. Lady Cats trying to break the hex. The serve, a good one. McElfresh got it back, but barely cleared the net, and Paris made them pay with a big number 11, who I do not have an 11 on the roster. So I cannot tell you who did that for Paris. But Paris is up 5-0 as they scored the first point, 5 points, here in set 3. That one over. Lady Cats will set it up to Tanton, who hammers it across. Paris kept it alive. They'll set up the net and get it over. Wisenhunt high in the air, Stroud high in the air toward Vickery. Her shot blocked, but she got it back across with a left fist. Paris returns. Oh, that went off Lexi Wisenhunt. It may have come off somebody else first. And Paris is up 6-0. I don't know that I've ever seen this Lady Cat team fall behind 6-0. They got beat rather rudely by Hallsville in the first set. I think it was 25-7, but they won that match. Lady Cats trying to get a point here in Autumn Tanton with a successful kill. And the Lady Cats trailing 6-1, and Sadie Stroud back to serve. And Sadie serve. Second pair of shots sets up the net. They feathered it over, hit by Vickery. Oh, she finished. Oh, she just popped it over the net, and it went in a perfect place, just right over the net into an empty spot on the other side. Lady Cats down 6-2. Stroud serve. And set up the net and punched over into an open spot. Boy, a gaping hole in that Lady Cats defense that time. And Paris leads 7-2. And Paris with a serve now from Grace Woodby. Lady Cats will set up the net. Tanton hammered it over. And Lady Cats get a nice finish by Maddie Vickery. Maddie really piling up the kills along with Autumn Tanton especially. But again, they've had several players standing out. Lady Cats down 7-3. Autumn Tanton serving. Autumn serve a good one. And Paris will set up the net. Blocked by the Lady Cats. Paris kept it alive. They got it back over. Sydney Washburn dumped it back on the Paris side. Nicely done, Sydney. Hey, the kind of versatile kids we have. Sydney Washburn, before she played volleyball on Saturday, she runs cross country. She runs a, 3,200K or something. Lady Cats trying to return the ball now. Vickery hammers it across. Paris keeps it alive. Their third shot is over. Dug by Stroud. Wisenhunt will set up Sadie Washburn. And she sent it off a Paris player. It went off of the basketball goal, and they returned it. That was headed for the stands. Bad luck there. And then feathered over by by Vickery. Lady Cats a chance to get it back now, and they just missed the sideline there as Sadie Washburn just missed. I think the players are complaining about that ball going up into the basketball goal. I guess that's just part of the court. Paris leads 8-4, and they're now serving. Get it over. Dug by Sadie Washburn. Wisenhunt sets it back to Washburn, and she finished. That was clearly in and hit inside the back line. And Lady Cats down 8-5, and here's Maddie Millsap checking in to serve. In a battle tonight with Paris. A good serve, Millsap. Paris' second shot, and over it goes. Hit by Stroud. And Wisenhunt sets it up to Sydney Washburn, who finishes. Nicely done, Sydney. And Sydney was also the best finisher for that cross-country team on Saturday. I think, if I recall correctly, she may have finished either 5th or 7th. I can't truly remember. She was the top Lady Cat finisher. Lady Cats within 8-6 here. Millsap serve. Up near the net. Paris second shot, and over it goes. Dug there by Tanton. Wisenhunt sets it over, and another good finish by Sydney Washburn. And it took an illegal hit from Paris to get it back. And the Lady Cats are back to within 1 now at 8-7. Maddie Millsap serving. Maddie serve on the way. Paris pops it up and got it over. Millsap pops it up. Wisenhunt sent it, too far over on the Paris side, and Paris ended up dumping the ball back on the Lady Cats. That one was set up too far back into the Paris court. And the pesky Paris is up 9-7. And serve coming up now by Quanteria Jenkins for Paris. It hit the top of the net, would not go over. Point for the Lady Cats. Paris leads 9-8. We're in set 3. Each team has a set. And Sadie Washburn to serve. Oh, right into the net. Oh, my. Ask Jared Hammock about serves into the net. You'll get a critique on what was wrong with his team tonight. 10-8. And Paris now serving with a 2-point lead. Stroud let it go, and the side official said out. And the Lady Cats are down now by 1 at 10-9. And Sydney Washburn is back to serve. And Sydney with a serve will win across the back line. Oh, my. Looked like a good serve, but just too long. Paris up 11-9 here in set 3, and their libero now serving. This is Skylar Coursey. Coursey's serve on the way. It's hit by Sydney Washburn. Wisenhunt sets up Tanton, who hammered it off a Paris player, but they kept it alive, and a shot blocked by the Lady Cats. But Paris keeps it alive again, returns, blocked again by the Lady Cats. And Tanton will get it over. Paris sets it up toward the net, off Lady Cats, but Bayer popped it up. Wisenhunt sets it toward the net to Tanton. Her shot blocked. Bayer pops it up. Tanton hit it again. And Paris kept it alive, and they'll return it. Hit by Sydney Washburn. Wisenhunt sends it over to Abby Bayer, who got it over. But Paris kept it alive. They'll set up the net. Oh, and a good finish by Paris. That was Grace Woodby. Did a good job there. And Paris is up 12-9 here in set 3. Another serve for Coursey. Well, I hate this script tonight. There's a Coursey serve hit by Stroud. Wisenhunt pops it up to Abby Bayer. Shot blocked, but out of bounds. Point for the Lady Cats. And they're down 12-10. And here's Lexi Wisenhunt, the lead server. Back in there for the Lady Cats. Trying to make some hay here. And Lexi's serve on the way, a good one. Oh, it went over toward the Paris bench, but they kept it alive and returned it. Wisenhunt high in the air. Vickery will pop it up toward Tanton, and Autumn got it over. Paris will set it up to the net. Blocked by the Lady Cats, but out of bounds. Point for Paris. They're ahead 13-10. Lady Cats have won 5 matches in a row since that loss to White Oak. They defeated Caddo Mills. Well, they beat Henderson that same day in pool play. Paris serve does not get across the net, and the Lady Cats are down 13-11 with Sadie Stroud serving. They beat Henderson that same day in pool play, beat Caddo Mills the next night, and then won 3 on Saturday, so a 5-game winning streak. Paris will return it. Good dig there by Stroud. Wisenhunt sends it to Sadie Washburn. Paris kept it alive, and they return it. Good dig by Sadie. Oh, but I say a good dig. It was too hard and just set up the Paris net person, and she hammered it to the floor. Those ones that barely clear the net, as I said, look out below because they are coming at you real hard. Here's a Paris serve. That one into the net. And it's 14-12. Autumn Tanton back to serve. Autumn's jump serve. Oh, that's going to, well, it hit the corner. It nailed the corner down there. I thought that was clearly going to be long, and it nailed right into that corner. And the Lady Cats down 14-13. Tanton with another serve over. Second Paris play as they get it over. Dug by Stroud nicely. And Sadie Washburn over to Wisenhunt, who returned it. Paris shot blocked this time nicely by the Lady Cats. Paris returns it. Wisenhunt high into the air. Stroud pops it up for Tanton. Autumn lobbed it over, but it went across the back line. Boy, the Lady Cats, this reminds me of the early days of the Lady Cats. Seemed like they were always playing from behind. And that's been the way it's been here in set 3. Lady Cats, they catch up, they just immediately fall back behind, having a hard time getting the lead. Served by Paris, hit by Stroud. Wisenhunt high in the air to Sadie Washburn, who returned it. Paris kept it alive, set up the net, and shot blocked by the Lady Cats. And Paris will get it back. Hit by Tanton. Wisenhunt sets it up. Vickery, a strong hit off of a Paris player. Couldn't do anything with it. Lady Cats trail 15-14, and Maddie Millsap back to serve. Lady Cats won the first set. Paris came back, won the second one. Millsap serve. And Paris will set up the net. Nice dig by Tanton. Wisenhunt pops it over to Sadie Washburn. Oh, she hit it wide. Sprayed it wide that time. And the Lady Cats back down by 2 at 16-14. And Paris to serve. And again, this is Quantaria Jenkins. She's a junior. There's her serve, dug by Tanton. Wisenhunt pops it over. Paris will set up the net, dug by Stroud. Wisenhunt sends it over to Kate Washburn, Kate Womack, who's in there, back on the Lady Cat side, and Sydney Washburn returned it. Set up to the net for Paris. So it went off Millsap and backwards. Nobody's going to catch that one. And Paris is up 17-14. Pesky Paris tonight. They've looked like world beaters from freshman to JV all the way to varsity here. There's Jenkins' serve, hit by Stroud. Wisenhunt sets up Sadie Washburn. Paris keeps it off the floor and returns it. Goes back across the back line. Good decision to let that one go. Hard to do that sometime on a close one like that. Lady Cats back to within 2 at 17-15. And Kate Womack is back to serve. And Kate's serve on the way, a good one. Paris second shot, and they push it over, and that's going to be hit by the Lady Cats. Bayer pops it up, and Wisenhunt over with the ball. And Paris will set up the net, and over. Millsap sets it up to Wisenhunt, over to Abby Bayer, her shot blocked. Wisenhunt gets it up to, Millsap got it to Wisenhunt, and it was hit back on the Lady Cat side. And there was a ball set up, went all the way back across the net and out of bounds. So nobody could do anything with that one. And Paris back up 18-15. Paris serve coming here for McAmis. And again, the ball sent right back over into the Paris side where they can really just hammer job on it. And the Lady Cats can't get it back. Timeout taken by Justin Manus. And the Lady Cats trailing in set 3, 19-15, having trouble with this Paris team as they have since the first set. We're tied at 1 set apiece, but Paris leads here in set 3, 19-15. Let's take a break here, and we'll be back with more set 3 right after this. Boy, Coach Manus taking every second of that break that time to talk to his team. That's unusual for him. He's usually quick in and out of the huddle. Paris serve coming up here by Macy McAmis, and gets it across, and Lady Cats cannot return the serve. Got a couple of hands on it, but couldn't dig it up high enough to get it back across the net. Paris is up 20-15 here in set number 3. McAmis with another serve coming. Jump serve on the way. Hit by Millsap, and that's an ace. 21-15. Paris beating the Lady Cats and making them like it here right now. McAmis with a serve, hit by Sydney Washburn. Wisenhunt pops it up in the air. Abby Bayer tried to finish, and Paris blocked the shot back on the Lady Cat side, and they are up 22-15. This will test the Lady Cats' mettle because Paris has had all the answers lately. McAmis with another serve, hit by Sadie Stroud. Wisenhunt sets it up to Sydney Washburn, and she got a good finish. Hit inside the back line. And the Lady Cats trail now 22-16. And back to serve is Sydney Washburn after that good kill. Sydney's serve, a good one, popped up near the net. And that time they got it too far on the Lady Cats side. And Autumn Tanton jumped up and deposited it on Paris's side. Said, thank you very much. Lady Cats down 22-17. Sydney Washburn, that one skated the top of the net. Paris return blocked by the Lady Cats, but Paris keeps it alive and returns it. Hit by Abby Bayer. Wisenhunt will flop it over. Paris returns it. That one hit out, I believe. Oh no, they ruled it in. And they've got a better view than I do all the way across the floor here. It was close. But point for Paris, and they lead 23-17. They have a 6-point lead on the Lady Cats. And Corsi now serving for Paris, hit by Stroud. Wisenhunt pops it to Tanton, who got it across, and Paris can't return it. A kill for Autumn Tanton. Get the Lady Cats back to within 5 at 23-18. And here's Lexi Wisenhunt serving. Wisenhunt with her jump serve gets it across. Paris second shot, and over it goes, but it flopped on the top of the net. Lady Cats did not deflect it, and it went out of bounds. So point for the Lady Cats. They're down by 4 now at 23-19. Wisenhunt, another serve coming here. A good one. Paris second shot. This will have to go over, and does. Hit by Stroud. Wisenhunt will set up Abby Bayer. Oh, a nice finish by Abby. She really ripped that one. And the Lady Cats are back to within 23-20, and timeout for Paris, as the Lady Cats have made 3 points in a row. And we are in a timeout here. Paris leads in set 3, 23-20. Both teams have won one set, and we'll take a break and be back in a moment. Back to play here. Lady Cats trailing 23-20 in set 3, and Lexi Wisenhunt continues her serve here. And Lexi's serve is across. Paris second shot, and over it goes, blocked by the Lady Cats, but Paris keeps it alive. And their return, and that was a good return. So Paris got the point, and this is set point. Paris threatening to go up 2-1 here in sets. And back to serve now is Victoria Weatherford. And Weatherford, though, that serve's going to go all the way back across the back line. Boy, all help appreciated, as the Lady Cats still trail now 24-21. And Sadie Stroud getting ready to serve for the Lady Cats. Got it over. Paris tries the net off of Vickery, but hit by Sydney Washburn and over by Autumn Tanton. And now Paris will set up the net again. They feather it over. Tanton hits it and got it over, but she hit it twice. And that is not allowed, and that's going to end the set for the Lady Cats. Boy, in the fever of play there, you may not realize that nobody else has touched the ball. So Paris wins by the exact same score that they won set 2. In fact, all the scores in all 3 sets, 25-21. The Lady Cats won the first, and Paris has won the last 2. So Paris now leads the Lady Cats 2-1, and we get ready for a set number 4, and we will tell you all about that one right after this break. Again, Paris leading 2-1. I started to say that I have not seen the Lady Cats lose this year. We have not done a losing broadcast, but we've only broadcast 2 games, McKinney North and Forney here in the home gym. They won both of those, but I have seen some tournament losses. I saw them lose to Saxe and to Frisco Memorial in the Garland ISD tournament. So I have seen them lose 2 of their 4 games this year. But it seems like a while. Of course, I saw them play Friday and Saturday. And they won all of those. They won all 4 of those. So it's been a while since I've seen them get beat. And Paris will serve to get us going here in set 4. Stroud hits it up to Wisenhunt. Autumn Tanton, her shot blocked, and Paris is really feeling their oats right now. They're dancing around that court. And up 2-1, and they're ahead 1-0 here in set 4. Serve on the way for Paris, hit by Millsap, up to Wisenhunt, to Abby Bayer, who got it across. Paris will return it, but they hit it across the back line, and we're tied at 1. And Lexi Wisenhunt will be back to serve. With the Lady Cats and Paris tied 1-1 here in the early going in set 4. Wisenhunt serve. Paris will set up the net. Oh, a left-handed hit. My goodness. Young lady jumped up, hit it with the left hand instead of the right, and hit it right into the right spot. That was really showing some athletic ability with that. I doubt she's left-handed. she's hit everything else tonight right-handed. Paris leading 2-1 here in set 4. The serve hit by Stroud. Oh, all the way back across the net, and sure enough, hammered on the Lady Cats side, and they couldn't return it. 3-1. Sometimes you can't help it. If the ball's hit to you as hard as somebody can hit it, it's hard to do anything with it. Stroud sends it up to Wisenhunt, and Vickery finishes. She hit it off Paris net players and ended up on their side. And the Lady Cats trail 3-2, and Sadie Stroud serving. Sadie serve on the way. Paris will set up the net, and they feather it over, and the Lady Cats can't handle that one. Just feathered in there. Again, Paris number 11. Again, we do not have her name, at least not on the roster that I've got. And Paris leads 4-2. Serve on the way, hit by Sydney Washburn. Wisenhunt pops it up, and Sydney Washburn, oh, she could not clear the net on that one. And the Lady Cats trail 5-2. Lots of unforced errors. It's the Paris playing very, very well, and they have from freshman level all the way up tonight. There's a hit by Stroud over by Wisenhunt, but they call that. Occasionally they call that, and that one they didn't like. Not a clean hit, according to the official. And Lady Cats trailing 6-2 here in set 4. Paris serve, hit by Stroud. Wisenhunt pops it up. Vickery shot blocked. Lady Cats send it back up to the net, and over it goes Wisenhunt. Paris will set up the net, hit it across, and that found its way into the Lady Cats court. Now, one of those Paris hits looked like a clear grab and toss, but it was not called. Lady Cats trailing 7-2 here in set 4, and right now the Paris leading in sets 2-1. Let's take a break here, and we'll be back in a moment. And we're back to play here. It's Paris serving. They're leading 7-2. Lady Cats have not lost on the home court this year. They haven't played here much, but they've not lost yet, but they're in danger of doing that tonight. Lady Cats return the serve, and Autumn Canton just got it inside the back line. Lady Cats trailing 7-3, and back to serve is Autumn Canton. Lady Cats lost to Saxe and Frisco Memorial. I mentioned that in the tournament. Lost to White Oak in the tournament. Served by Tanton is good. Paris got it back, popped up by Sadie Washburn. Wisenhunt gets it over to Vickery, and she hit it real hard, but it went across the back line. Paris leads 8-3 here in set 4. So 4 tournament losses for the Lady Cats. Lost to Forney, as well as Saxe and Frisco Memorial, so they lost 3 in that one Garland tournament. Lady Cats are receiving serve, trying to get it back across. Set up the net to Sadie Washburn, but it's hit back, but this one's going to find its way just out of bounds. Returned by Paris, but Lady Cats let it go as they could clearly see it was going to land in foul territory. And Lady Cats are back to within 8-4 with Maddie Millsap serving. Maddie's left-handed serve. Set up to the net. Hit real hard. Autumn Canton got a piece of it, but it was really sizzling and not much she could do with that. Paris leads 9-4. They're 16 points away from pinning a loss on the Lady Cats. To their first one where they played more than 3 sets and lost. Lady Cats return it. And Paris, that one hit back across the back line by Paris, and 9-5. What I mean, all those tournament games are always best 2 out of 3. And so all 4 of those losses were best 2 out of 3. This would be their first 3 out of 5 loss if it happens. Paris return, hit by Millsap and Wisenhunt, and over by Sadie Washburn, who just cleared the top of the net. And Paris will return it. Canton pops it up, and Wisenhunt slapped it over. Now Paris will return it. Millsap sets up Wisenhunt, and then Bayer pops it over. Paris sets up the net and hit it into the net. Well, that happens. Paris still up by 3. Lady Cats, Sadie Washburn now serving. It's 9-6. Lady Cats trailing. Sadie Washburn serve is good. And Paris will return it. Millsap pops it up. Wisenhunt will set it up to Abby Bayer, and she hammered it over, went off of a Paris player. And a good point for the Lady Cats. Lady Cats back to within 2. They trail 9-7 with Washburn serving. Sadie. She got it across. Paris will set up the net. Shot blocked by the Lady Cats. Paris returned it. Sadie Washburn pops it up. Wisenhunt gets it over to Sydney Washburn. Her shot blocked, but the Lady Cats got it back over. Paris will set up the net. They sent it over. Bayer hit it a couple of times. Got it over. And now over by Paris, but Bayer hits it again. Wisenhunt and feathered over by Sydney Washburn. Paris returns it. Dug by Tanton. Wisenhunt, oh, she tried to get that ball and palm it back over and didn't get a good grip on it and was not able to do that. And Paris is up 10-7 now. And Skylar Corsi, their libero, now serving. They have a 3-point lead. Hit by Maddie Millsap. They'll set up the net to Sydney Washburn, who punched it over. Paris sets up the net, punched it over. Abby Bayer couldn't dig it off the floor. And Paris is up 11-7. Boy, the Paris just lulls you to sleep, and you look up and they're scoring points. And there's a Corsi serve hit by Millsap. Wisenhunt sends it over to Sydney Washburn. Now that was blocked off of Paris players and out of bounds, so the Lady Cats will get that point. And they trail 11-8. Set 4, and Paris leads 2-1. Served by Sydney Washburn. Paris sets up the net and returns it. Bayer hit it back, a dig all the way back across. Paris shot blocked by the Lady Cats. Paris chases but can't get back to it. Nice block by the Lady Cats. And Paris leads 11-9, and Sydney Washburn is back to serve again. Sydney serve on the way, good. Paris sets it up toward the net and gets it across, hit by Stroud. Wisenhunt pops it up to Abby Bayer. Oh, a nice strong finish by Abby Bayer. And the Lady Cats get back to within 1 at 11-10. And timeout taken by Paris as the Lady Cats have gone from 11-7 to 11-10. So Paris still leading 11-10 here in set 4, and they lead in sets 2-1. They're trying to wrap this one up and wrap up the match, but the Lady Cats have different ideas. Let's take a break here, and we'll be back in a moment. And Sydney Washburn continues to serve here. Lady Cats with a nice little run here. 3 points in a row. There's a serve. Oh, my. I guess I put the jinx on it. That one hit the top of the net and refused to go over. And that's kind of the way it's been when Paris has needed a point. They've gotten it. If things get tough, they get the point. Except for the first set against everybody, freshman, JV, and varsity. But after that, they've kind of ruled. Here's a Paris serve, dug by Millsap. Popped up Wisenhunt. Bayer hits it back to Paris, and they couldn't get it back. Boy, they came close, but they just couldn't quite get it over the net on that third hit. They were scrambling around, and the Lady Cats down by 1, 12-11, and Lexi Wisenhunt serving for the Lady Cats. Set 4. Wisenhunt serve, a good one. Paris will set up the net, and blocked by the Lady Cats, and a hitting violation on Paris. And we're tied at 12. Boy, it seemed like a long time since we've been tied. 1-1, I believe. Lady Cats have struggled in this set 4. Wisenhunt trying to give the Lady Cats the lead. A good serve. Paris keeps it alive and returns it. Good dig by Stroud. Wisenhunt pops it up to Vickery. Her shot went off of Paris players and stayed on their side, and the Lady Cats actually lead. And it's been a while. It was back in set 3 when the Lady Cats had the lead. Let's see if I can even find it. My goodness. Goes way back deep into set 3. The Lady Cats now leading 13-12 with Wisenhunt serving. Maybe we've turned the page, I hope. Paris sets up the net. Lady Cats block it. Paris can't get it out of the net. I think they had a young lady that got under the net, so that'll give the Lady Cats the point at 14-12. Wisenhunt will continue to serve. Maybe the spell has been broken, we should hope. Wisenhunt serve on the way. And Paris will set it up to the net and hammer it across. Good hit by Sydney Washburn. Popped up to Vickery. Hit off of a Paris player. They scramble, but they will get it back across. Dug there by Wisenhunt. Stroud pops it up toward Vickery, and she hit across the back line. Oh my, close to that back line, but a little too far. And Paris is back to within one, 14-13. And serve for Paris. Hit by Stroud. Wisenhunt pops it backward. And then it was hit by Wisenhunt, but that was an illegal hit for the Lady Cats. We're tied at 14. And Paris serve on the way. It's hit by Stroud. Popped up by Vickery. And over it goes Abby Bayer. Paris will set it up to the net. Bayer popped it up. Wisenhunt sends it back to Abby, and she feathered it over. Paris got the dig, but there was a problem with the hit for Paris. And the Lady Cats lead 15-14. And Sadie Stroud back to serve for the Lady Cats. Kind of feel if they give them a chance in set 5, they might be able to steal this one here. Stroud with a serve. Got to win this one first, though. Paris returns. Sydney Washburn pops it up the net over by Wisenhunt. And did not like Wisenhunt's hit. It was good for a point, but they're going to give it to Paris, and we're tied at 15. Did not like Lexi's hit. Paris serve coming. Got it over. Hit by Stroud. Wisenhunt pops it up to Vickery, and she hammers it, but Paris keeps it alive. They'll set up, and over it goes. Hit by Stroud. Oh, it ended up in the stands. And Paris leads 16-15. Pesky Paris tonight. And another serve coming here for Paris. They lead 16-15. And an ace. Lady Cats could not return it. Paris up 17-15. Paris 8 points away from victory here. Paris serve, hit by Sydney Washburn. Wisenhunt over to Autumn Tanton, slams it, but Paris keeps it alive. They feather it over, hit by Wisenhunt. Stroud pops it up toward Vickery, and she hit over the back line and bent all the way down in frustration after that one, after she could tell that was going long. Paris up 18-15. Timeout taken, Coach Manus for the Lady Cats. Paris leads 18-15 in set 4, and they lead in sets 2-1. And let's take a break here. We'll be back in a moment. Team's back on the floor now, and we get ready to resume play. And Paris serving up 18-15. It went off Sydney Washburn, an ace. She patted her chest there and said, "My fault, guys." And Paris up by 4 here. They're 6 points away from victory. They're leading 19-15. They lead in sets 2-1. Get a 3-1 win if they can pull this off. Here's a Paris serve. Hit by McElfresh, popped up by Tanton, over by Wisenhunt. And Paris will now set up the net. Went off of Lady Cat net players, and Paris is up 20-15. Boy, I have never seen so similar matches between freshman, JV, and varsity. Just like one right after the other. Hit on the Lady Cat side, and McElfresh will return it. Paris sets up the net. Got it across. Lady Cats can't. They tipped the ball and then couldn't do anything with it. 21-15. Paris in cruise control here toward the victory lap. Served by Paris. Hit off Stroud, and Wisenhunt sets it up. Tanton shot blocked, but blocked out of bounds. Point for the Lady Cats. Lady Cats down by 5, 21-16. Autumn Tanton back, hoping for some consecutive serves here. And Autumn serve on the way. Oh, into the net. Oh, my. 22-16. whatever can go wrong will go wrong tonight. The ox appears to be in the ditch. And now serving for Paris is Quanteria Jenkins. Jenkins serve, hit by Stroud. Wisenhunt pops it up to Sadie Washburn, who hit it, but Paris kept it alive. They'll set up the net, blocked by the Lady Cats. Paris pushed it back on the Lady Cats side. Stroud pops it up, and Tanton gets it over. And now Paris sets up the net again, and they push it over. Good dig by Tanton. Set up over toward Vickery. Her shot blocked by Paris. They have had all the answers tonight. And they lead 23-16. Except for set one. They couldn't win a set one to save themselves. But after that, they're golden. Serve, Lady Cats returned it. Paris sets up the net off Lady Cats with a good dig by Wisenhunt. Stroud pops it up, and Tanton gets it over. Back up for the net. Paris shot blocked by the Lady Cats, but they keep it alive. They'll set it up. Ooh, a low set, but they got it back across. Stroud sends it to Wisenhunt, over to Vickery. Oh, she hit a girl right in the top in the head, but it was a glancing blow, and the young lady, I think, mainly just trying to make sure her hair is still all tied back. Lady Cats down 23-17 now with Maddie Millsap serving. Boy, Lady Cats, very little room for error now. Paris just 2 points away from victory. Millsap serve. And Paris will, third shot will go over, hit by Stroud. Wisenhunt sets it up to Sydney Washburn. Oh, she hit long. Lady Cats, set, match, point. Lady Cats down 24-17. And Paris serve on the way across the top of the net. Second Lady Cat hit. This has got to go over. Sadie Washburn, that was in the court. That one hit in. And the Lady Cats dodged the set and match point bullet. Paris with a 6-point lead, though, at 24-18. This would be in miracle department, I think. Sadie Washburn serving again. Oh, it's back across the back line. How fitting. An unforced error to end this one. And just end a miserable evening of volleyball here in Sulphur Springs. Losing to arch rival Paris in similar fashion. And the trend started with a very good Jared Hammock freshman team with only one loss all season long. They won the first set and won big. They won 25-9, but then lost 25-22, 25-22. Then that brought up David Carrillo's JV, and they won the first set in pretty convincing fashion at 25-19. And then they lost set 2 and set 3, 21-25 and 20-25. And that brought us to the varsity. And varsity won the first set. It was a struggle, but they looked like they were in control, just kind of like they've been, and they won 25-21. And then everything went Paris's way the rest of the night. Paris won 25-21, 25-21, and 25-18. So Paris defeats the Lady Cats. And I don't know, we may be looking at one of the best teams in Class 4A for all I know. People were not, we're talking about Coach Hammock and his strong freshman team. I found out from talking to the coach over at Paris that their freshman team had only lost one game all season long. So Paris wins this one by the score of 3-1. My goodness, frustration abounds here. As just one of those that you hope that Coach Manus, somehow the Lady Cats just kind of forget this one maybe and look forward to playing Liberty Ilo on the road coming up on Friday. Lady Cats ranked number 13 in Class 5A. I'll have to go back and look and see if Paris might be ranked. Lady Cats record falls to 20-5. Doug Hastings shooting your video for this broadcast here on Channel 18. I'm Don Julian with your play-by-play, and once again we'll tell you that our scores tonight, Lady Cats win the first set by the score of 25-21, And then Paris wins 25-21, 25-21, and 25-18. And they beat the Lady Cats 3-1. And they did whatever it took to keep the lead. You'd get tight, and Paris would get the point just every time. And that happened in freshman, JV, and varsity. Again, 3 incredibly similar games played by all levels here for the Lady Cats. Frustration for Coach Jared Hammock, for Coach David Carrillo, and for Coach Justin Manus. And we'll be talking to him in just a moment and get his take on what went wrong here tonight. Lady Cats again playing on Friday against Liberty Ilo. And so that's going to wrap it up here from Wildcat Gym. Paris comes in and defeats the Lady Cats by the score of 3-1. We thank you so much for joining us, and so long, everybody. Well, Coach, in your opinion, what happened?
We came out flat. Paris High played lights out. I mean, they played very good defense. It was hard to put a ball down against them. I didn't think our defense was where we needed it to be. We did not pass the ball well out of serve receive. We needed to bring the ball off the net, and we put it on the net way too much, and we weren't able to run our offense the way we were supposed to run it. You're going to have nights like that. Paris High served the ball aggressively, and we just couldn't get a rhythm. Couldn't get a rhythm on our passes. So, it's hard to not lose, I guess you could say. I mean, you're going to have those nights where the odds are stacked against you, and tonight happened to be one of those nights. And we just couldn't pull out of it.
Sure didn't like the script tonight. Started with Coach Hammock with his team. They win the first set, lose the next 2.
Yeah.
Coach Carrillo wins the first set, loses the next 2, and then the varsity wins the first set and lose the last 3. It looked like it just kept recycling like we'd seen the script before.
Oh, it's exactly. Paris High came in ready to play tonight. I think all 3 teams were ready to rock and roll. I mean, they're well coached, and they're young, and so I think they have a bright future ahead of them. I couldn't say if we played them again how it would finish, but I think that we would know what to expect is the thing. And so in a way, maybe we needed that. We needed that little wake-up call. We need to give ourselves just a little bit of rest, but everybody's been playing a lot. Paris High has played a lot. We've played a lot. So, we just have to recoup. We got to get our minds right, get mentally ready, and be ready to go Friday.
Boy, you sound like you've got that coach's voice. I know you were urging them on as best you could, but sometimes, it's just you try and the results just don't always work out.
It's just, you just have those nights, and tonight's was one of those. If I can do anything extra to get us a few points here and there, I'm going to do it, and the key thing is, in volleyball, you got to go hard, but you got to stay calm. And so if a coach loses their head at the wrong time, your team, they can lose their head at the wrong time. So you have to have that fine line of what you want to do, but it just didn't work out for us tonight. So,
before we think this is a shock of the century, we find out from talking to you that this is a very, very good Paris team that is ranked, I guess, in Class 4A.
Yeah, I believe they're ranked as of the latest TGCA ranking. So they're moving on up, most definitely.
All right, Coach. Thank you very much.
Thank you. I appreciate it.